Hi there. I'm now moving on to Chapter 18, Section 4, regarding heredity, excuse me. So you want to make sure you understand that you are born with 23 chromosomes from the male and female, which is a total of 46 chromosomes. So you have from the male and female, so a total of 46 chromosomes in your body. Heredity, basically, they're characteristic traits that you get from both the male and female. So, for example, you could have attached earlobes or detached earlobes. That would be a dominant or recessive trait or gene. You want to make sure you understand that. Like for my family, all my kids have blue eyes because my husband and I have blue eyes. But each one of my children have different hues or forms of blue. So, like, my son has really blue eyes, like ocean blue eyes, like turquoise blue eyes. Where my other daughter, she has light blue eyes. And then my oldest daughter, she has like bluish green eyes like her dad, almost like Hazel. So like if she's wearing certain clothes, like say green, then the green of the clothes reflects more of the green come out of her eyes. And then of course, if she's wearing blue, the more of the blue will come out of her eyes. Curly hair, straight hair, so that determines also from your parents for dominant genes. I also have some friends that everyone in their family have dark curly hair, and her youngest daughter has red curly hair, and everyone's like, well, why does she have red curly hair? And unfortunately, some of her siblings would tease her, saying that she's not her parents' daughter. But in reality, she really is, because the red hair is a recessive gene or trait that the great grandma on the mom's side has red curly hair. So again, you want to make sure you understand the dominant and recessive genes, and that's on page 479. We're moving on to diseases and disorders. Genetic disorders are a factor as well. Sometimes genetic disorders can be because the cells or the hormones are not connecting properly, like a puzzle piece. And you have some that are like Down syndrome children. Down syndrome children have an extra chromosome. So remember, most humans have 46, 23 from each parent. But you have some Down syndrome people who have an extra chromosome, and nothing's wrong with them on that. I mean, they may have some other complications, but overall, they act like everybody else. The Down syndrome people or community that I run into, they're always happy. Not that they don't have bad days, but they're always happy. So I always like to say it's just a little extra chromosome of love. You also have like hemophilia, you have cystic fibrosis, you can also have sickle cell disease, which is genetic. My son has some genetic issues, and for some reason, my husband and I both carry this specific recessive gene, which in turn gives my son this disease. It's not a disease, but it's a disorder that he has to have for the rest of his life, and he has to take medicine for the rest of his life due to his stress and adrenal issues. So, some of it is genetic, some of it's not. Now, we're going to a geneticist shortly to see more about my son's condition and how it will affect him when he gets older, and perhaps, his future family if he has one, and as well as like my daughters if they by chance have the recessive gene or will possibly carry it to their future children if they have it. So, the human body is very complicated, very complicated. When you move on to page 481, you were talking about the effects of the environment and behavior. So here, this would be a factor of like, chemicals being used. If you're working in a facility where there's a lot of gas or, chemicals being used in the air that you are inhaling, or touching or being exposed to. That's why some people wear gloves or masks. Pollution in the air, that kind of stuff could affect someone's, ability to be genetic defects. I want to recall, like back in the way a long time ago, back in like the 80s when I grew up, that tells you my age, there were a lot of factories and plants that sometimes would have contaminations in the water, and it would affect some of the unborn babies. Now, for example, recently we would have the water problems in Flint. So, that's pretty much up-to-date modern problems with the environment. And some of the chemicals in the water, or I think it was the metals in the water could possibly affect people's life, and if they drank too much of it, and some unborn children. So there's, again, the effect of the environment that could affect people's upbringing. Medical advances. So moving on to the last section of 4. There's a lot of things going on today with our technology, which is a positive at times when it comes to medical research. Like, for example, for my son, like I mentioned earlier, they're going to be able to draw some blood from him and do like a trace of how far back, I don't know, of, what gene might be mutated and or recessive or dominant. Also, when babies are born, they do like a panel to see, if the baby's blood is well, if their motor skills are working, if their eyes are working, their ears are working. And some women, when you're pregnant, you can take a genetic testing if their child's Down syndrome or has cerebral palsy or other abnormalities that could occur during pregnancy. So that's a factor that you can do. And when I was growing up, they didn't have ultrasounds until probably, like 1974, because my youngest sister's 75, is born in 75. So yeah, tells you how old I am again. But anyways, ultrasounds have evolved to the point where now you can have 3D ultrasound where you can literally see the nose and the eyes and the ears really well, almost like if the person was out of the mother's womb. So prior to early 70s, they didn't have ultrasounds, only on an emergency situation. So like my mom miscarried in the 60s, and they didn't have ultrasound. They didn't know why the baby had a miscarriage. So again, medicine is evolving, technology is evolving. It's good to do precautionary measures. So that is section 4. Make sure that you review all the sections in the video lessons and make sure that you go over the vocab so you understand the difference between the male and female reproduction, also the menstruation cycle. All right, have a good day.